Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Don's TV. Welcome to Plough Lane, bringing you all the build-up to AFC Wimbledon versus Wrexham in League 2 this afternoon. I am Nick Draper. I'm joined to my left by Reese Fletcher.
Hello, everyone.
And we are going to go straight into team news for this afternoon. Our lineup for this afternoon shows one change from the team that started at Grimsby last Saturday. That is Ali Al-Hamadi starts in place of Josh Davidson. Otherwise, it is the same 11, which means, I imagine, Reese, that Ryan Johnson will be starting at left back again.
Yep, I think so. Obviously played that at Grimsby, but seems like a strong lineup, I think. Wrexham have got a strong lineup as well, so I expect to be a really good game. Hopefully get a couple goals in and hopefully a win.
We shall see, yeah. We'll come on to the Wrexham team in a moment, but just looking at our 11, I do wonder, the thing that strikes me about this is obviously the left-back situation. Lee Brown played left-back on Tuesday. He's on the bench today. We're not sure if he's fully 100% fit, and that's probably why Alex Pearce has come back into play centre-half.
Yep.
It's just a little frustration, isn't it, for us? I think at the start of the season, when you want Ryan Johnson and Joe Lewis perhaps to start developing an understanding in the centre half partnership, the pairing. They did so on Wednesday night against Coventry, but again it's broken up today, which is frustrating for those two. Alex Pearce, though, outstanding player to have to come in.
100%, yeah. It's a shame, obviously. We had a lot of injuries last season as well, and it's a shame to have them at the start of this season. But Ryan Johnson did play well at left back against Grimsby, and hopefully he can do the same again. But
we shall see. In terms of substitutes, then today we actually have we have options now, don't we, on the bench?
It's a very strong lineup. It's very strong on the bench as well. I think Sassu played amazing against Coventry until he came off. Obviously, Ryan McLean scored against Coventry as well, professional debut. So yeah, we've got some very good options on the bench as well to come on if they need. Yeah,
absolutely. Murray McLean obviously on a high following his winning goal on Wednesday evening, and as Reece says, Aaron Sassu, really lively debut, especially in the first half against Championship opposition on Wednesday. Right, well, just before we get into the Wrexham side, just to give you the heads up about this afternoon then, as you're joining us, whether it be on YouTube or on Facebook, we will today be joined by John Green, club sponsor and world-renowned author, who's just coming into the shot now. And later on we'll also be joined by Mark Robinson, our former manager, perhaps to talk about an upcoming fixture with Chelsea as well. We'll also be joined by our Wrexham fans to let them talk through their lineup. But John Green is here, so should we get him in? Do we want to get John into the shot? So he's just having a chat off camera, but obviously a big game for celebrity fans, shall we say? This
100%.
Speaking of which, obviously Dave Anderson's in attendance as well. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get a chance to get Dave on camera today, but Dave Anderson, another former promotion-winning manager at AFC Wimbledon, he'll be with us shortly. Before I tell you what, do we want to go into highlights of Coventry before we start? Yeah, let's have a look. So our last fixture, opening home game of the season, was on Wednesday night against Coventry in the first round of the League Cup. Fantastic late victory for us, and here's the main highlights from that one.
A chance for a cup scout this evening as Sky Bet League 2 side AFC Wimbledon hosts Coventry City, with the Championship club coming to South London tonight on the back of a frustrating defeat on the road in their league curtain raiser against Coventry happy to now try and send the long ball over the top, looking for plenty that they've got forward. That's a lovely turn on the edge of the area by Wright. Did well to get the Sakamoto wanted it, he was missed, and instead it forces a fine save from Tsanev. The effort from Hamer. Lovely ball around the edge of the 18-yard box. That's an ugly challenge in on Wright. Penalty given. Haji Wright, the American, in his first start for his new club. Booking. And a chance now for Matt Godden to open the scoring. Beautifully into the bottom corner. Coventry have provided all the early pressure, and Matt Godden provides them with the early advantage after 17 minutes. They were hoping for a fairly routine night tonight, the Sky Bet Championship side. It's looking very comfortable. Godden in behind again, and a very good save once more from the keeper. Nikola Tsanev has been the busier of the two shot stoppers by far. And that perhaps the best save of the first half he's been forced into. Tilly coming the other way though. The host quick to turn defence into attack. Tilly going alone, beaten away by Collins. Kelly thought about pulling the trigger, decided against it. Hamer has a go. And Sanev once more gets down quickly to it. And towards that near post, dangerous flick on it too. There's Lee Brown with the fire. Lays it off, gets it back with a little bit more room if he can just keep it in, which he does. It's not a bad delivery in either. Beaten away by Sanev. Bidwell, second chance for him. No way through. Edge of the attacking third. Lovely turn by the American. Had a little bit of room, found a teammate as well, and Sanev somehow keeps it out. Taking the long route to find some space. There's a little more space further forward for the forward. Right. Takes a deflection, and it could have looped over Sanev. It's getting late now. We've seen very little from the hosts in terms of a reply tonight. A little bit of space on this near side. It's not a bad delivery towards the top of the 18-yard box. Oh, it's beautiful. Omar Bugiel smashes it home from the edge of the area. And somehow, some way, the Sky Bet League 2 side are level. Right at the death. 4 minutes of normal time to play. An inspired change, perhaps. It's done the business. Game on, and perhaps penalties are calling tonight. Bit of momentum suddenly with the hosts. Oh, it's a beautiful finish! Ryan McLean! A first goal on his AFC Wimbledon debut. And he took it in expert fashion. Just guides it past the keeper with the instep. A worthy way of winning any cup tie and taking a Sky for Sakamoto's effort. Chief inside. Kelly. Does he pull the trigger? Does he try to find a teammate? It's a very good save again by Sanev. Man, last chance saloon. That's a full-time whistle. The Cherry Red Records Stadium erupts in ecstasy as Sky Bet League 2 AFC Wimbledon topple Coventry City of the Sky Bet Championship. Late strikes from Bugiel and McLean do the damage, and Coventry are safe home and out of the Carabao Cup. It finishes here. AFC Wimbledon 2, Coventry City 1.
Many people were expecting it, but it's more than welcome. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, just like buzzing. I mean, an unbelievable end to the game. The energy, the atmosphere in the stadium, and the scenes at the end when we scored the winner. And then, yeah, it's just a great night, and it's a great night for the club. It's what this football club wanted when it came back to Plough Lane under the lights. Something special about in there. So just buzzing for my players, the staff, but I think most importantly supporters. You know, to have a night like that, haven't had low since we come back here, so they deserve that.
We've had them all. Well, there we go. Fantastic night at Plough Lane on Wednesday evening. Our first home win in the League Cup since the year 2000. But anyway, we are now joined.
It's been a good run.
It's been a great run. As you can see, we're now joined by John Green. John, thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, it's always great to be with you.
For the first time this season that you're here, obviously, for our first home league game of the season. When did you fly in? Have you just come in straight from the plane?
No, I've had a major innovation. I arrived last night and got a full night's sleep, which is why I'm in such good spirits.
No jet lag?
No jet lag. I feel great. My dad's with me. It's his first time at Plough Lane. He saw us at Kings Meadow a few times, but hasn't traveled much since the pandemic, so it's been awesome to see him see this place for the first time.
Yeah, and what a game to come to. Full house at Plough Lane we're expecting today. Going to be a fantastic atmosphere. Big game. And I assume you watched the game on Wednesday evening, or were you able to? Yeah, were you able to watch the game on Wednesday?
I wasn't able to. I was only able to
listen
listen to the game.
Yes, of course.
But I listened to it like it was 1932 on the radio. part of the time I was in the bath, actually, not to be too revealing. And I always get in the bath when we start losing as a way of calming myself. And oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Those last 5 minutes, that was the Wimbledon that I fell in love with.
Yeah. We created quite a splash, you may say.
You might say.
Yes, you might say.
You might say.
So what have you made following on our progress in pre-season and a really decent start to the season, first couple of games? What have you made of it from a view? I'm very positive feeling around the club. I'm sure you can feel that.
Well, as you know, I mean, we've, you and I've had this conversation on social media and in real life before. Like, there's something that's just inherently optimistic. I don't know if it's my Americanness or what, but I believe every year that we're going to win the league at the start of the season, and I'm always baffled when we don't. So we've started in line with my expectations. I thought that game against Grimsby was really encouraging, actually. Yeah. I thought that was the kind of game that last year we lose. Mm-hmm. When I saw that 9 minutes of extra time or whatever it was come up, I was like, oh, we're done for. Yeah. But actually, we were able to really be quite stalwart.
Also, when you look at the team from the difference of the last game of the season away at Grimsby and the game we played against Grimsby 2 weeks ago, that was only maybe 4 or 5 of the starters that played in the last game of the season and now. So it's good to see. It's
great to see, and I was worried that with so many new signings, it's going to take a while to gel, and maybe it will. But I think what we're seeing out there now is a team with a real identity and an approach to playing football. And that's a little bit of what I've missed the last season.
I mean, especially now, we saw on Wednesday night and sort of the way we go about it, we've got 2 wide players that are really sort of, I consider to be old-fashioned sort of wingers. It's lots of attacking intent, and then obviously you've got the pace of Ali Al-Hamadi. Now, I'm trying to think, John, when was the last time you were actually at Plough Lane? Can you remember?
I've seen Ali Al-Hamadi play once in real life.
Yeah, that's...
and boy, it's hard to... It's hard, if you're watching on iFollow or just following the games and the stats, you don't see his speed and his skill. Yeah. He's exceptional. And the fact that we were able to pluck him out of, there the boys are. The fact that we were able to pluck him out of where we did, the fact that we've got this new young man who 3 weeks ago was still working in IT recruiting.
Yes, Ryan McLean, yes.
All that stuff is so encouraging to me. To see Ryan McLean score an absolute banger of a goal in the 92nd minute, I was just like, this is the Wimbledon I fell in love with.
Also at Grimsby, Ryan McLean wasn't involved in the team.
He wasn't even on the bench.
He was actually standing in front of me in the away end, and then a couple of days later he scored against Coventry City, which was quite funny.
Yeah,
it's good to see.
I mean, great of him to be in the away end.
Yeah.
And
he was with his mum, dad, and his girlfriends.
Love to hear that. We love a family of Wimbledon supporters.
100%, and also you saw it in his face. But that traditionally, when I was young, growing up supporting Wimbledon, this is what we did. We took players from non-league and we turned them into superstars. Yeah. And through all the years, talk about the Warren Bartons and the John Scales and Vinnie Joneses of this world, and hopefully Ryan will be another one we can add to that list. But we shall see, of course.
I mean, I love the line that we don't buy stars, we make them. Yeah. We have good signings. Jake Reeves is obviously a great signing, experienced signing. I'm excited about Joe Lewis. I think that even though he's on loan, I think he's a special player. Really, really, and obviously he has special shorts. And
there we go.
That biases me. But
are you still? Hold on. You used to sponsor our shorts, did you not?
I still do.
You still sponsor our shorts. So
I can't believe that you're not aware of the fact that I'm right there
you're still there.
The liminal space between left thigh and buttock on all of the players.
This is it. But Joe Lewis's shorts are so short. I know.
You can't even see them.
No, you need to get something else.
I wanted to mention to Joe, or at least to Rocket. God, his shorts are short. But as you can see my logo on all the shorts except for Joe Lewis's short.
You need to go and tell him to pull them down.
I did mention it to Rocket that I was concerned about the lack of my sponsorship. Yeah. And he needed to move that patch a little higher up. Yeah. But I'm not actually worried about it because I don't sponsor the team for actual brand exposure. I sponsor them for the pure, unadulterated joy of it.
Of which we've had lots over the last few years. But Wrexham then today, club I believe you went to see. You've been down to Wrexham, haven't you? At least once.
Yeah, I saw Wrexham play at the Racecourse Ground in the FA Cup. It was an awesome experience. They had a really thrilling draw against Sheffield United,
right.
Very, very close to a big win for them.
Yeah.
But the whole time I was just thinking, wow, we're going to have days like that, and when we have days like that, it's going to feel better.
Well, we've got a potential one coming up then in a couple of weeks. We've got Chelsea. We are going away to Stamford Bridge in the League Cup. And, of course, John, we know that you have slightly divided loyalties with being a Liverpool fan as well. Liverpool aren't really big fans of Chelsea either, are they?
No, not big ones. I think it was it Stewart who wrote took our song about them, Poor Old Chelsea FC, You Ain't Got No History.
Oh, yes,
and rewrote it for
I will take
Wimbledon
the credit for that one, but yes.
From Southern League to Wembley, that's what we call history.
Yeah.
And I do hope we smash them.
Oh, yeah.
I have to say, at this point in my footballing supporting life, I'm glad that Wimbledon don't play Liverpool often, but Wimbledon's my club and where I feel at home. And just being here today, I've been reminded of the hundreds of friends I have here, and how fortunate I am to be able to walk into a room and feel surrounded by people whose love is oriented in the same direction as mine. And that's just a special, special thing that football fans get to have that most people don't. And I think we should never take that for granted.
And of course, lots of, as you say, hundreds of friends, I'm sure. Many of them will regale you with tales of when we used to beat Chelsea all the time back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, they were a mid-table side.
Not a big deal for us.
We were a mid-table side, so, you win some, you lose some.
This is it. But finally, just for today then, so Wrexham, do you have any thoughts on a scoreline, perhaps a prediction for us? Or if not a prediction, what would you like to see from us today?
I want to see us continue to establish an identity as a football club, and I want to see some of the same intensity I saw in the second half against Coventry. I think it's a winnable game, but I always think it's a winnable game.
Yeah.
I think that a draw would be a good result, but let's win this game and feel what it would feel like to beat Wrexham.
There you go. Well, yes. Well, John, thank you very much for taking time to speak to us today.
It's always a joy.
Enjoy the game. Speaking about beating Wrexham, I think Stu has put together some highlights of some previous meetings with Wrexham from our conference days. So I think we're just going to have a look at those now. All right, and welcome back to Plough Lane. So the highlights there of Wrexham's last game last Saturday started with a defeat at home Thank you very much for joining us, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. We see some of your comments coming through. Please keep structuring them through, especially score predictions, and let us know where you are this afternoon, where you'll be watching the game from if you're not at Plough Lane. I see Sean Tennyson there has gone 2-1.
Would happily take that.
We'll all take that all day long. I mean, I think, Reece, what we can probably safely say this afternoon is that we're expecting goals. Wrexham drew 0-0 with Wigan in the week, but again, similar to them, even though they lost last weekend, they created so many
scored
chances,
3 goals.
and they still scored 3
goals. And also,
goals.
the thing against Wigan, I watched it on telly. I think they really should have won in the first 90 minutes.
Right.
They had a cracker, loads of chances. They missed an open goal, so they probably should have won that in the end. But yeah, goals galore today, I think.
Well, yeah, we should see hopefully 2 teams looking to play on the front foot, trying to score goals, and get your comments through supporting Ali Al-Hamadi, of course, our Iraqi striker. So we're just watching as balls start flying around Plough Lane. So we just spoke to John Green, and obviously spoke, Reece, very briefly, of course, about the prospect of Chelsea in a few weeks' time. Obviously, for the younger fans, like yourself, I mean, I'm only 29, but a little bit older. This is the first time we've played Chelsea, so you won't be as well versed in the years we used to go down Stamford Bridge and turn them over fairly regularly.
My dad was telling me, obviously, my dad's been supporting since the 80s, 90s. I think the last time Wimbledon played Chelsea away from him, I think we won. I think that's what he was telling me.
Last time playing in the League Cup, we certainly did. Yeah,
League Cup. So yeah, it's going to be a great experience. I think the allocation, well, you might get the whole of the shed end behind the goal.
Yeah.
There's going to be maybe 6,000 Wimbledon fans there. It's going to be good for the financial side of the club as well.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal, we got a lot of money from that, so it's good. It's good in many aspects for the club. For that game.
Yeah, absolutely. So exciting times at the start of the season for us. And Michael Cuellar with a 3-2 prediction. So again, expecting goals. Let's just have a look at the team lineup again, very briefly, as it's queued up there. Perhaps a 4-2-3-1 that Stu's gone for. Although, will we expect to see Omar Bugle push more up alongside Ali Al-Hamadi in a more traditional 4-4-2?
Yeah. So 4-2-3-1. I think it's better to maybe have Bugle and Ali Al-Hamadi up front together. I thought Bugle played really well against Coventry. But as I said before at the start of the stream, the lineup looks strong. And yeah, hopefully a good game today.
Cool. Well, we've been joined, we've got a couple of guests waiting in the wings to speak, so it's going to talk through the Wrexham lineup. So we've got Wrexham fan Nathan Salt, who is joining us, and he's just going to step in now. Nathan, welcome to Plough Lane. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
Nice to meet you.
We were just talking about your start to the season with the defeat last week against a team that we will not name.
Appreciate that.
And sadly, we were in the same boat as you with that one. And then obviously Tuesday night you had the win on penalties against Wigan afternoon. We were just saying though, despite the defeat and the fact it was 0-0 at the end of the game on Tuesday night, you're a team that seems to be creating a hatload of chances.
Yeah, I mean, in both games, there's the amount of chances. Was it 20 on Tuesday? I think it was like 16 against the team that I won't name on here. The other day, they created far less, just took the chances.
Yeah.
And I think without Paul Mullin, you're creating the chances, which is a good thing. You just need to put them away, and we're hoping as that pantomime villain that Ollie Palmer will come here and do that. So it's not through a lack of chances. It's just we don't look really like scoring a lot of these chances at the minute, which we can't have Paul Mullin back fast enough.
Well, I was going to say that was a very late injury in your pre-season programme, disrupted it. I know Phil Parkinson, your manager, was really upset with how it came about. Obviously disrupted your preparations. Who have you got? So Ollie Palmer obviously starts this afternoon. Is Billy Walters playing up front with
No,
alongside
so it'll
him?
be Elliot Lee alongside him now, which is an
okay.
interesting one. He's so talented for us as a kind of 10 attacking midfielder. Up against, I don't know how he'll fare against your centre halves. I would imagine from the experiments I've seen, not very well.
Right.
I hope when that backfires on me and I'm lulling you into a false sense of security. But it'll be kind of a little and large partnership up top. The real one we don't know is James McLean. In midfield today, we all expected him to be this left wing back. He's gone with Jacob Mendy again, who I really like. I think he offers a lot going forward. James McLean, a wild card. Could be brilliant in a central midfield role, could be ill-disciplined. We don't know. I think he's got a good record against Wimbledon whenever he's played for Wigan.
Yeah, he scored against us a couple of years ago. Yeah.
So we'll see, but that's the wildcard for Wrexham. We're all coming in today not quite sure what our midfield is going to look like, because last week they danced through us, and give Wimbledon too much respect, too much time on the ball, you'll do the same. So let's see how we look today.
Reference there seems to suggest you're going with a 3-5-2. Then is that how you normally start with 3 centre halves? Which is what Coventry did against us on Wednesday. I keep wanting to say Tuesday, but no, Wednesday.
It's very confusing.
It is
having a game on Wednesday.
Yeah. And it seems like we wanted to try and turn around Coventry as quickly as we could. Especially we've got Jake Reeves in midfield, who's fantastic passer of the ball. We've got Ali Al-Hamdi with his pacing behind. Are you a team that likes to sort of sit deep, or are you ones that more aggressively sort of push your three centre more farther forward?
It's an interesting one. Ben Tozer just doesn't really have the pace to get back. You know, so he is the one that will anchor it, quarterback role we call him in that kind of NFL style. Will Boyle in there today, new signing from Huddersfield in the summer. First start of the season. You know, been injured. Okay. Let's see how he looks early on. If he is made to track back in behind, if you do get in behind him on that left side. Owen O'Connell on the right had a really poor display. I think he was rated one of the worst players in League Two last week with the own goal. And so his confidence has been, you know, a brilliant boost for him to be labelled that on Twitter and other places. So he's got point to prove. Played a lot better on Tuesday night and is a good player. He's the one, I think, Owen O'Connell, that on that right side likes to come out with the ball at his feet. The other two, I think you're going to get more kick it, head it, give it to the wing backs, because Ryan Barnett, you'll see today, he could put on an absolute show. He's a superstar at right wing back. He is, as we call him, the little dancer. But I mean, we'll see how he is today. He's so quick and direct, and I think you see a lot of players now cutting in, coming back to midfield. They'll go to the byline every time. So whoever's going to be on your left side, left back, left wing, they're going to have their hands full. At least going back the other way, maybe not the way they want to be going.
Interesting, cool. Well, aside from today's game, we'll get your score prediction in a moment. The season as a whole, obviously you're heavily tipped to do well this season. Many pundits have got you finishing automatic promotion. I'm guessing that's the aim for you guys this year.
It's got to be. I mean, I can't come on here with a straight face and tell you that if we finish 15th, I'll be satisfied just to be up with the money we've spent. You know, we've got rumoured a £250,000 fee on James McLean. They just spent eventual £100,000 on a fourth goalkeeper.
Especially most of your players can also 100% play in higher leagues.
Right.
So
I have to say, for me, if it's not a top 7 finish, I don't think it is. We have to get promoted this season. I think if we're in that top 7, and that's a real step forward. I would say the same about Notts County, given the money they've spent as well. I've got us top 3, but based on last week, I was kind of getting a little bit jittery about my prediction. I was like, League 2 is a little bit harder than I thought it was, but we'll see. It's got to start today for Wrexham. We can't afford to let this bad start. I know we won on penalties, but you're not going to get penalties every week. That was ultimately a 0-0 draw. Let's see. Need a statement today, I think.
We'll get a scoreline prediction for you in a moment. Just thinking back to previous encounters with Wrexham, I think we had a couple back in when we were in the conference about 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
I think the last time we played you at home, you beat us 1-0. Dean Saunders in charge of time. I actually remember years ago, I don't know if you would know this one, Nathan, we played you in the FA Cup third round, and we scored a goal with the last kick of the game, but it was from a corner. Right. The referee blew for full time as the ball was in the air being delivered. We headed it in and it didn't count. It had to go to a replay. We won the replay, but we won't hopefully avoid any of those sort of dramas today. But Reece and I were speaking earlier, we're expecting goals today. I'm assuming you're the same. What do you reckon for a score today?
Yeah, I mean, I've absolutely no surprise. I'm going to come on and tip for a Wrexham win. I've gone 3-1 to Wrexham. I think it all depends on the start. I think if we get ahead, I think Ollie Palmer is, as you can imagine, all week's been talking about how important this game is, how up for it he is.
I think he said he can't wait to be back.
Yeah, right. And look, and I said I'm desperate to see if he does score, will he celebrate or will he go down that route of respect? I don't think he will. I think he'll go all out and celebrate. We'll see. I think he will, and I'm for that personally.
Yes, same.
I don't want players a year, 2 years at a club not celebrating. So we'll see. But I think the mood around him in our end and in yours could be very interesting.
Could be interesting. Well, Nathan, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the game. I think Stuart Robb's going to take you down to the away end now.
Perfect.
And all the best for the rest of the season after today. Yeah. Thank you. Here's a quick look then at other fixtures in League 2 today. And Reece, I was saying on the podcast, on the 9 years, 104% unofficial podcast this week, Barrow versus Sutton could be interesting. Two teams that had good wins on the opening day that would want to carry those on.
Yeah, Sutton had an amazing 5-1 win against Notts County,
5-1 win against
which
Notts
is
County,
crazy.
yeah.
Notts County have signed some amazing players. They've got McGoldrick from Derby, which is so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting couple of games today, I think, across the league.
Yeah, we shall be interested to see how the table takes form. But Reece, thank you very much for joining us today. I know Reece is going to shoot off now, and I'm going to be joined by Mark Robinson and Rob Boyce to put them in order. In you come, Robbie. Yeah, step through. Good to see you.
And you?
You well?
Yeah, I'm very well.
We'll have to do a bit of rearranging here so we can all squeeze in. Right, Robbo. Wow, it's been a while since we've spoken.
Yes.
New role at Chelsea now. How's that going? How's it going for you?
It's going really well, really well. We had a really good year last year. Sort of went 5 months unbeaten, and it was the longest I think for 23 years. And more importantly, we had a lot of progression up to the first team. And quite a few lads went out to America. So yeah, so far so good. We had our first game last night, which we won. So, but very young group this year. So be a real challenge. But no, it's going really well.
Well, I was just chatting to you off air, but you were here on the Wednesday night against Coventry.
I was, yeah.
What did you make of it? It's a very different side to when you were here, obviously. Not just summer transfer activity for us.
Yeah.
Want to get your thoughts really on what you saw?
I'm not a pundit, so but I just really enjoyed it. I just thought it was great to see us win, great to see the fans enjoying themselves, because they haven't had a lot of joy since I was in charge back in January. So it was just great to see them win. I thought it was great energy. And it was great. So obviously I only lived 15 minutes up the road, so walking home, seeing the fans smiling, and after a great victory against a really good team was just great to see.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Coventry, the way they passed the ball around. Gustavo Ham obviously has gone to Sheffield United for 15 million. I felt like he ran the show in the first hour when he came off.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think we had a couple of really good chances early on. I think people forgot that. Like, we could have been 2-0 up really early on, which would have changed the game anyway. And you play a side of that sort of calibre, they're going to have time, but I thought we always looked to threat, and we proved that at the end with the 2 late goals. And what a great goal, the last one, fantastic goal.
And obviously we've got a great tie against Chelsea in the next round.
Yeah.
What end will you be sitting in?
I'll be behind the Chelsea dugout, so that's where we sit now. So I was gutted actually, because we got Milton Keynes on the Tuesday in the EFL Trophy. So I didn't think I was going to be able to go. So I was going. So when it was moved to the Wednesday, I was really happy. So I'll be behind the dugout. So that would be a bit bizarre. Sort of obviously looking across at Rob and that. So looking forward to that.
Well, should be a great occasion for us. Of course, Robbie, you'll know back in the day, as I just mentioned to our Wrexham fan, we beat Chelsea all the time. It's not a big deal to us older fans,
No, I remember it.
I remember it well. Today, though, we've got an exciting day today. First home league game of the season. Wrexham visiting us. Right, what we all know about this player already, but you can give us a little bit more of an insight. What does Ollie Palmer give Wrexham today, and what do we have to be guarding up against him?
Yeah, I mean, with us, obviously, we were so young. It wasn't just what he gave us on the pitch, it was what the belief he gave the youngsters off the pitch as well. So obviously it's different now. They're going to be a lot more experienced. So all I can say in terms of what he gave us, it was so much because the young lads entrusted in him, and we were, as we all know, we were too young, so it was a massive loss to us. But I think with Ollie, is because of his size, everyone sort of thinks about the hold-up play and that, but he's actually a really good footballer, as you know, and his link-up play is excellent, but not just his link-up play in terms of his hold-up play. He brings people into play really cleverly. He's got good feet. So obviously we're going to have to be wary of that, because he carries a real threat.
Yeah, and obviously we were talking about Elliot Lee as well. They've got a lot of players we need to be mindful of this afternoon. But from what you've seen of what you saw on Wednesday tonight, who's stood out for you? Ali Al-Hamidi is someone that's joined us this calendar year.
Yeah.
What have you made of him?
Well, again, I only saw the other night, but he really impressed me. Strong running, and it looks like we've got pace up top, which is really, really important. And it was great to see Jake Rees come back, someone I wanted when I was here. Again, I know he'll be great around the players, and real sort of culturally really good, and just a really good footballer. I loved him first time round when he was with us, and as I said, I'm a big admirer of him. So again, I thought he did well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. The others, obviously, I don't know so much about, but
Do you dare venture a scoreline prediction for this afternoon?
No, I just hope we win, really.
There you go, that's what we want.
Exactly, just hope we win. As I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it the other night, and you get that buzz. It sort of today reminded me a little bit of the first game against Bolton. As I said, I only live 20-minute walk away, and some games when you're walking in and you just get a different feeling, and you can feel it tonight, like their fans are mingling outside, and our fans, it's just got that real great feel to it. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we were talking on the podcast about moments at Plough Lane and games that stick with you, and obviously Wednesday night felt like one of those memorable evenings. But of course, Rob, in your time here, we were thinking back to the Bolton game, obviously, and the Oxford game, the first win we had here in the league, and I'm sure that will always bring good memories back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still, obviously, the Bolton game, still the first manager to manage in front of a crowd here. No one can ever take that away from me, and it was like, such an emotional day. Would love to have nicked the win, which we could have nearly, but I mean, I thought it was just a great game of football.
It was.
And the Oxford one was probably, as close to the. I mean, obviously we reached some real good heights when I took over the season before, but in terms of being live in front of crowd, that was probably as high as it got, and probably us at our best. And that was certainly a game to remember. And the atmosphere that day was great. But I thought the atmosphere last night, considering the size of the crowd, it was. I was upstairs, and it was brilliant. The fans were in great voice. It was really good.
And we expect the same today.
I would have loved to have seen in that Bolton game for Dapper Mabude to score the fourth goal. He went through. I know. A bit of a heavy touch there.
You're reading my mind. I was talking to someone about it the other day. They were saying, what was your favourite game? No way we didn't win. It was just, and I just said he scored, and then when he's gone through, and it's just, I know. I mean,
the roof would have come
I think it would have done. I think it would have done.
It would have done. And just a quick word, actually, referencing back to those times and stuff. How pleased must you be to see Jack Redoney progressing at championship level now? Yeah, and I don't want to go into things, but there was obviously lots of things that weren't right back then, but there was a lot of things that were right, and those youngsters progressing, and we'd never sold, since we've been a professional football club, we'd never sold a player, first team player, non-academy player, and we've obviously done over £2 million of business, which has been invested into the club. So that was a real positive from the time, even though we obviously were far too young across the board. That is a real positive from the time.
One of the interesting things from that squad which we had under you, a lot of the players have made moves to league clubs. Aaron Press has gone to Stevenage, Alfie Bendel's gone to Forest Green Rovers. So I think they just, like you said, they just needed that experience in of getting men's football. Yeah,
and it's all small margins. It's tiny margins. Like we drew 19 games that season, so it's always small margins, and it still hurts. It never goes away from you. But the things that we did get wrong, but it's great to see those lads progressing. And as I said, what they needed around them was more experience at the time. But but you've got to move on now, and I'm just looking forward. Hopefully, we can kick on. Yes. I'm looking forward to today and get us back where we need to be.
Absolutely. Well, will you be upstairs today watching from there?
I'm actually here today.
Oh, are you?
Okay. So hopefully I won't get too much abuse.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
So I'm here today, and as I said, looking forward to the Chelsea game. That'd be great. I mean, I was saying to Wimbledon fan the other night, I mean, you'll get the whole of the shed in, which would be fantastic. It should be over 6,000, and it's very different to the Emirates game, because I feel a bit distant at the Emirates, but at Stamford Bridge they're going to be right on top of the pitch, so it's the atmosphere will be great. There'll be Chelsea fans who obviously don't get a chance to go to league games will go, because the season ticket don't count. So I think it's going to be a cracking night.
How many do you think we'll get for the away end? 6,000.
I think it's just over 6,000. Okay. So it's a great end to make loads of noise. So I think the atmosphere should be great.
Yeah, we're all very much looking forward to it. It's going to be a great occasion. Hopefully it'll be a great occasion today as well.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy the game. But Mark, thank you very much for joining us.
Brilliant. Great to see you again. And you.
And enjoy the game, and good luck for the rest of the season with Chelsea.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Thank you. Right, we are going to head downstairs to some pitch side action that Stu's getting us slightly slanted, as we can see. So there we go. Players just warming up. Rob, you've seen the lineup. What do you make of the lineup today? Are you expecting it to be a 4-4-2? Stu's gone for maybe a 4-2-3-1. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar to Wednesday. A 4-4-1-1 is what I kind of see it. But then obviously we can break into a 4-2-3-1. We saw on Wednesday night obviously Sasu and Tilly on the wing, but obviously today's slight change with Nouveau on the wing. Today, but I think we're going to have two banks of four and then break from that. Be interesting to see how we compete against Wrexham, who do like to line up in a 3-5-2 formation or a 5-3-2 formation, and be interesting because that's the first time we've come across that this season. Grimsby and Coventry don't play that formation as far as I'm aware. So going to be interesting to see how we match up today.
It was interesting to hear. Sorry, I keep saying the word interesting. It was interesting to hear our Wrexham fan saying about Owen O'Connell there, and Nathan Barnett, I think he was talking about, essentially saying that down their right hand side is where they think the right wing back is perhaps where they're going to look to do a lot of their getting out and getting forward.
Okay.
We talked about our left back situation, and perhaps Ryan Johnson is not a natural fullback, therefore is likely to be a little bit more defensively minded than Jack Hurry was going to be. So maybe that actually plays in our favour a little bit. Perhaps we can narrow down that side, and maybe we can get on the other side, Isaac Ogundere getting forward like we saw at the very closing stages with the assist for the winner on Wednesday night. Maybe that's potential we've got there to try and...
I was going to say it'd be interesting to see if that was a tactical decision by Johnny Jackson. Obviously Lee Brown's on the bench. I mean, I personally think we're probably just easing Lee Brown back into games. He got thrown in the deep end a little bit with 90 minutes against a strong Coventry side. So they said maybe the plan is for Johnson to come in left back just because he's a bit more defensive. Maybe we have identified that as a threat.
Well, thank you for watching wherever you're watching from. We see some of your predictions coming through. I think there was a Warren Ramsdale who's predicted us a 2-0 victory. And do you reckon there's any relation to Aaron?
I read the article for it. He's got brothers, so maybe he likes to tune in.
Maybe.
To Don CV in
not watching his brother, who must be in action now, or maybe just finishing off now.
2-0 up. I don't know what the latest is over on that side.
I don't know. A bit boring. Premier League, a bit boring sometimes. Anyway, kick-off score predictions coming through as we count down to kick-off. You just saw down there pitch side, Stu with the roving camera picking up the players coming off their warm-up. Earlier, I think we were getting some views of some of the fans in Plough Lane. Do we have any of those? Just going to ask our director if we manage to get those ready. If not, that's not a problem. But as we've all said, a real buzz around the place this afternoon, as Robert just said there as well. Real feeling, like big occasion today, big feeling. We're about 10 minutes away from kickoff though, so I think perhaps a fashionably late crowd are expecting a sellout today. Not sure how much our viewers can actually see of the stadium, but
any room for a small one.
Enjoying
shifted
around. Stuart Deacon's now going to join us. I should say for people that are just joining us, Stuart Deacon's just come into shot there. Rob Boyce to my right. I am Nick Draper. And Stu, we're just talking about perhaps a fashionably late crowd. They're all behind the south stand getting a Mai Pai.
Yeah, do you know what? It's like a disco down there. What, a disco? Like a rave down there. The music's really loud.
Pardon?
But do you know what? You know when you're getting old, when you just hear it boom, 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 boom. But there's a proper atmosphere going.
I think you've just got your hearing aid turned up too much.
That might be
what on because it's just so loud.
It is very loud, and obviously the Wrexham fans have started getting into voice as well before the game. So we're going to try. We can see a few of them watching us up from where they sat, thinking, "What are those numpties doing up there?" But yeah, Dan Baker giving another prediction there, 2-1.
Has he had one already?
Okay.
Has he had a prediction already and changed his mind?
Has he? All right. But Stu, we're expecting goals. I think I'll be gobsmacked if we don't get goals today.
Yeah, it's an interesting lineup, isn't it? Omar and Al Hadamadi up front, isn't it? Is that right? Have I got the right team?
On the graphic that you gave us, Stu, you actually said Omar just behind Ali.
Yeah, because I think Omar's got the ability to play off. He doesn't have to be up front with Ali in that side. But I think Omar can drop in and hold the ball up and bring people into play, or he can play up as alongside Ali, isn't it? I suppose it depends how we're going to play today. You were saying, obviously, in the podcast that they've created a lot of chances.
Yeah.
So I'd like us to have a go at them. I don't want us to not sit back at home, do you know what I mean? But I want us to have a bit of a go. But it's an attacking lineup, you know, Noville back in. Obviously, I've just been down there and they're a big side.
Yeah.
I wasn't on a dip though, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we're also talking about they are beside experience in Tozer. What I was interested, we're talking to Nathan, the Wrexham fan. He was talking about Ben Tozer and perhaps being a bit older, perhaps not being the fastest or the quickest, which might mean he sits a bit deeper. We're in the same position with Alex Pearce as well. So, I mean, does that make the game? I don't know if that stretches the game. Does that mean there's going to be more space for their wing backs to get into, but also perhaps more space for, as you say, Nerville and James Tilley?
Yeah, I think obviously Johnson's good enough to play left back, but he's not an attacking fullback. And I think obviously we are losing a little bit with that Jack Curry. Not so much Lee Brown. Lee Brown can go forward, but not obviously as energetic as Jack Curry. Yep. But I think that's an area where we're a little bit not limited, but Johnson's not going to go over that too many times. He's going to be a solid defender. Whereas if we had two threats either side, I think we'd get Tilly into the game better. But Joel, we're at home. It's up to us to go and attack. I like obviously Imani Little coming back into midfield. I think that's our first choice midfield side of it. And I think obviously with Bald as well, if you want to go free in there, you can chuck another body in there, which we didn't have last year when we got overrun. In there, isn't it? Sorry, I might be covering stuff.
No, you're not. Do you know what, Stu? I'm really sorry. It's just that I've just looked, because where I'm facing, I'm looking straight into the Wrexham, and I've seen Wrexham's version of George Jones, and I can't keep laughing. There he is.
It's like, where's Wally?
Stood up in the aisleway just by the Cherry Red Records sign there. You might see him.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I think we haven't played him here at Plough Lane, have we? At Kings Meadow, obviously the attraction around Wrexham and stuff like that, they come out in their numbers. They were a well-supported club anyway, aren't they? But yeah.
They were. They brought a number. Do you remember, Stu? I was telling this earlier when we played them, and it was, what year would it have been? 98, when we played them in the Cup, and we scored from a corner, but the ref blew for full time when the ball was in the air. Do you remember that one? Yeah. You went down to the racecourse green after that. I think Michael Hughes scored twice in a
I tell you what I remember the most is Frank Sinclair getting sent off at Kings Meadow.
No one will forget Frank Sinclair being sent off.
Frank Sinclair obviously played at Chelsea, managed to get wound up by a very small brigade behind the goal at Kings Meadow.
Yeah.
They got themselves sent off. It was hilarious.
And we got a last-minute injury time equaliser. Do you remember who scored that equaliser, by the way? Here's a name. Wow.
No.
Glenn Paul. Do you remember that?
Wow, yeah.
I don't even remember it myself.
No, there we go. First season of conference.
It was just a fact, though. He's played in front of massive crowds, experienced international, and we wound him up. It was just hilarious. And he knew it as well, didn't he?
Oh, of course he
When
knew.
he got sent off, he knew he'd been wound up by basically a few people.
I think sometimes though with the smaller stadiums, you hear individual voices more, don't you?
Yeah,
So,
true.
You know,
Yeah,
probably
true.
wasn't so used to that on that side of things.
No, perhaps not. James BD has just come up with a prediction. 2-2 draw this afternoon. I mean, the thing is, all this talk about Wrexham and our good start to the season, and yes, Wrexham got through in the Cup in the week as well. But when you get promoted into a new league, you want
I'm hungry. Sorry, it feels really good around here.
you can smell it wafting.
We don't in the old studio. We didn't smell the food, did we?
This is true.
Oh, dear, that smells nice. Where did that come from?
I can't answer that one, Stu. Probably the catering. But yeah, we're talking about when a club gets promoted, they want to tick off certain milestones. And Wrexham at the moment, okay, first goal, yes, first point. They want to stick up. They want to actually get on the board in terms of points. So for them, there's a little bit of pressure on them, I think. Even it sounds ridiculous 2 games into a season, but when you're one of those teams that are fancied to go straight through this league, and there are other teams in this position. Notts County will be today, Stockport will be today. They're looking to pick up points on the board, and if they don't get them in the first couple of games, then they start to get a little bit edgy.
It's a really interesting league. Gillingham look very. I know we're talking about Wrexham, but Gillingham just got Macaulay Boone,
yes,
free transfer. Like if you look at their strike force. So Wrexham, I haven't pronounced that right, have I?
No, probably not.
Macaulay Bond.
Yeah, Macaulay to his friends. They got a very good strike force. So actually, you're right. The pressure's on here, but I don't see Wrexham being strong favourites. In terms of that side of it. I think there's a lot of pressure on them compared to like the Gillinghams and Stockport potentially.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you saw. Have you shown the Wrexham highlights from last week?
Yep.
So the goals, to be fair, the goals they scored were decent goals.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about the Elliot Lee, Ollie Palmer, James McLean starts today. I mean, there's players that are going to be scoring goals at the top end of League One, even the Championship.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, we may have got them too early for James McLean to really make an influence because he might have only had a few training sessions.
True.
He was Wigan's player of the season last year, and he's moved down. And we know obviously in League One when Wigan played here, he's a very good player at that level, isn't he?
Yeah.
But we got him a bit early where he hasn't got into that full training and how they play. Hopefully.
Another thing today as well is obviously all the cameras are down here today. There's
Loads.
about 40 odd cameras watching Wrexham. Do you think that puts an extra pressure on them still, or are they just used to Disney and everyone coming down to watch them by now?
I imagine they're used to it, aren't they? Let's be fair, they've gone out to America. I'm sure they would have been centre of attention in some area. I suppose they get used to it, and I suppose as a player that's obviously an additional pressure, isn't it? Because you are. Hey, look, I can imagine being on Disney on TV is great for your person as a self, isn't it? But yeah, there is pressure. And I suppose that's the thing though. When teams put a bit of money in, pressure comes with that. And maybe today we can get on them. I think if we can get on them early, really put them, turn them around a little bit. You're right with Tozer, great with a long throw, but not as pacey. And they're getting loud now, aren't they?
They are getting loud. I'm expecting this similar from Forest Green in a couple of weeks. But anyway, Craig Roper
just they'll be all right for the first bit.
With a prediction of 2, or if you are at home today, you can watch this game on iFollow. We talk about cameras. Well, there are some extra cameras there for the iFollow viewers apparently today, so increase your enjoyment of the game at home. Go to afcwimbledon.co.uk.
I'm going to jump out very quickly and get some shots from down there, so I won't leave you.
I was going to start for a score prediction from Stu, but Rob, I thought we were about to pack up really because crowd is filling up, so score prediction for you?
I think there's goals in today's game. I think it's going to be a 2-2.
Okay, lots of people are saying...
I'm going to go 2-2. I think we're going to come back from 2-1 down to get a late equaliser, and we're all going to go home quite happy.
Cool. I don't know what I think, to be honest with you. I just think there'll be goals. We are battling against the away end, as you can hear, but we are short to depart from you. We might just take one last look at the team, Spike, if we may. There we go, our team lineup for today. We'll keep that up for you and then see if we can get some shots from Mr. Deacons, but we will leave you Updates on Twitter at AFC Wimbledon, at 9Wireless Podcast, wherever you are today. I hope you enjoy the game. Rob, thank you very much for joining me.
Question for you, Nick, before we go. How hard of a decision was it from Johnny Jackson to go with Alex Bass after Nick Sanders' man of the match performance?
I imagine it was always going to be this. Don't forget, Bass played very, very well last week as well. So teams are coming out, as you can see, onto the field. Kick-off moments away. Wherever you're watching, enjoy the game, and we'll see you back here at full time.